Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting of the Revere Subcommittee on Ways and Means. This is our final Ways and Means Committee meeting before we approve the budget. I'll ask all of the councilors to stand and salute the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The members of the committee that are here are Councilor Giannino, Councilor Patch,
Here.
and myself, and Council President Bob Hatz, who is, by virtue of being Council President, a member of the committee, and also Councilor Ivan Novoselsky. I know it's you, Councilor Joanne McKenna, and Councilor Patrick Keefe, and Councilor Arthur Ganasso. We're here this evening. We've spent 3 evenings prior to this going over the FY18 municipal budget, which is $437,347. And I'd like to add that this is a budget that on the municipal side has only increased by 3%. It's one of the lowest increases that I've seen in recent years. Normally increases of 4, 4.5, 5, sometimes I believe even 6%. But the administration and the council has done an excellent job in keeping expenditures down for the ratepayers, and I look forward to some good things happening in the next year. Do any of the councilors have any recommendations for cuts in this budget? Councilor Ganasso.
Mr. Chairman, I don't recommend any cuts. Obviously, when I was attending the meetings, I saw that the budget was so lean that there wasn't anything to really cut. But what I want to remind the chair is that we had these meetings. They were open to obviously by the committee members, and also every city councilor was entitled to be there in attendance to review and go over the particular budgets as they saw fit. I would suspect, Mr. Chairman, that this evening, when this comes up before the Committee of the Whole, that the integrity of the subcommittee be withheld, and that debate is no longer in play after the subcommittee meeting is held right now. Because everybody, every councilor or any citizen had an opportunity during the debates or the proceedings that you conducted, and I might add, you did it in a very orderly fashion. You moved them on quite readily. You didn't belabor the subject at all. You just moved the process along, in a fashion that everybody was agreeable to. So I would suggest that we honor that commitment also and honor the integrity of the subcommittee and do the same this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councilor Ganasso. Any other councilors? Any other members of the committee? Subcommittee will now take a final vote on the budget as presented by the mayor. Call the roll, please, of the subcommittee.
Roll call of the subcommittee members on the FY18 budget as proposed. Councilor Giannino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morabito is absent. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo is absent. And Chairman Powers?
Yes.
Yes, the budget will be recommended favorably to the full City Council for approval.
Thank you very much. Councilor Morabito is here right now. He's just entered the chamber. There are four other items that will be hopefully voted on and approved this evening. And I'd like to, if the clerk would read them off. One is the transfer from the free cash. Yeah, please.
Council Order 17-235, this is a communication from the mayor relative to a transfer from free cash in the amount of $1 million to supplement the FY18 budget, and a transfer of $1 million from the overlay surplus account to supplement the FY18 budget.
Councilor Giannino.
Yes.
Are there any discussion on this? No? Any discussion from any of the councilors?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that we discussed it a couple of times in the past meetings, and we've all agreed we get enough information on it anyways.
All right, we'll call the roll of the subcommittee, please.
On the roll call, Councilor Giannino?
Yes, again.
Yes. Councilor Morbido? Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo is absent. And Chairman Powers?
Yes.
Yes, this will also be favorably recommended to the full city council.
And then the next item, other than the full budget, is the transfer from free cash to the beautification of Butler Circle. And I'd like to add that that bid down there, it's will be awarded with $74,000, and all but $15,000 of that was given to the city by outside individuals, does not reflect any tax money whatsoever. We'll call the roll on that, please.
Sure. On the free cash transfer, amount of, on the amount of $15,192 for the beautification of Butler Circle, Councilor Giannino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido? Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo is absent. And Chairman Powers?
Yes.
Yes, that transfer will also be favorably recommended to the full city council.
Well, that will conclude the ways and... There's nothing else on? Where is that? I don't see it here. It's not on this.
17-236.
17. Okay, I didn't have that. Okay, that was right before Butler Circle. Okay. Okay, you want to call the roll on that one?
On the transfer of $1 million from free cash to the new capital improvement stabilization account, Councilor Giannino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido? Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo is absent. And Chairman Powers?
Yes.
Yes, that transfer will also be favorably recommended to the full city council.
That's it. I don't see anything. One more? No. No, that was it. That's it, I guess. That will conclude the Ways and Means Committee meeting for this evening, and all of these items will be voted on by the full council when the council convenes this evening. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Appointment Subcommittee for the meeting of June 26, 2017. We have before us quite a few reappointments to the drain layers position. First, we have 17-229, reappointment of J.J. O'Brien as a licensed drain layer. Is any member from J.J. O'Brien in the audience? Please come to the podium. Again, state your name and address for the record, please. Just state it. Press the little button.
My name is Roy Verkaloon. I'm with J.J. O'Brien. My address is 9 Margaret Street in Burlington, Massachusetts.
Any questions from the membership of the subcommittee? Any questions from the members of the City Council?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Patch.
I would just like to mention, like I always do, that as far as drain layers, this is a process that goes through the DBW, the mayor's office, and all the investigation and all the paperwork is done before our final say. So that's why we really usually don't have too many comments.
Point well said. The reason what we have in asking that these individuals appear before us is that throughout the nature of the business that they're doing construction, they're repairing drains, they do uproot the sidewalks and streets, and we want to make certain that the responsibility of the person who does that remembers that it's a position that's offered out by not only the mayor and the Department of Public Works, but the City Council confirms that position, meaning we're approving that the actions of this company is satisfactory to all of us. Any other questions for the members of the subcommittee? Councilor Patch.
After saying that, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You do actually do contracting work for National Grid?
We do have a contract with Verizon to handle.
For Verizon?
Yeah, we handle their troubles.
Digging?
Digging, yes. In the street, on the sidewalk, we get the proper permits, whatever's
I
required.
just want to say that we have a lot of complaints in my ward, and I think the other ward council will tell you that the utilities, the way they leave their the holes, we try to get them back. They all sink, and we try to get them back to redo them, and we don't have much luck in getting that done. So I just want that.
I will mention
Please
that to
pat
the-
that hard.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Any other further questions for any members of the council? Seeing and hearing none, motion on the floor is to approve. All in favor, all opposed? So ordered. We will vote this out favorably to the Committee of the Whole this evening. There's no need to stay in attendance if you don't so wish to do so. There is a feeling among that this is going to pass because no one's raised an objection. So congratulations. Do a good job for our community.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for your service. Next is the reappointment of Miola Construction Corporation as a licensed drain layer. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Ralph Miola, part owner of Miola Construction. The company's from 155, 157 Clark Ave, Chelsea.
Okay. Thank you. Any members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Any members of the City Council wishing to speak? Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This company's been around for a long time. They're a first-class company, and they do good work, so I recommend it.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors wishing to speak?
Thank you.
Hearing, seeing none, we appreciate your service. Again, there's no need to stay in attendance if you don't wish to do so. The full council is here, and so if there were any objections, they would have stated that. So congratulations. Do a good job for our community.
Well, thank you for the whole
Thank you,
board.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is reappointment of Menino Construction as a licensed drain layer.
Hi.
Mr. Mayor.
Tom Pascuccio, company address is 76 Oakville Street, Lynn, Mass.
Welcome. Any members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Seeing and hearing none, Councilor Zambudo.
Again, Mr. Chairman, this is another quality company that's been around for a long time, and they're a neighbor in Lynn, and I endorse them.
We won't use that against you, sir, but that's...
Thank you very much.
Any other councilors wishing to speak? Hearing and seeing none, it looks like you're doing a good job for our community and keep on doing the good work. Again, I'm going to be repetitive on this, but there's no need for you to stay in attendance if you don't so wish to do so. We will be voting favorably this evening. In the next few days, City Clerk will be clearing the records with you. Thank you, sir, for your attendance.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next is appointment of McGrath Enterprises as a licensed drain layer. Is any member from McGrath here? We will hold that one. Next is reappointment of Myra Company as a licensed drain layer. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for record, please.
Leo Savard, 6 Norino Way, Georgetown, Mass. That's our offices.
Any questions from the membership of the subcommittee? Any city councilors wishing to speak? Seeing and hearing none. This is a reappointment.
Yes, it is.
So you've done business in this community before. We look forward to your service again, sir. Again, I'm going to be repetitive. There's no need for you to stay in attendance if you don't so wish to do so. We will vote this out favorably this evening. And congratulations to a good job for our community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night.
17237, J&A Contracting as a licensed drain layer. Any member from J&A? Seeing none, we will hold that also. 17238,
Mr. Chairman.
Callahan Inc. is a licensed drain layer.
Mr. Chairman, was that a reappointment, the last?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
It's a reappointment?
it is a reappointment. Okay.
It doesn't say so here, but it is a reappointment. Callahan Inc. as a licensed drain layer. Is anyone here from Callahan? No. We're going to hold that also. And last but not least, LaMontagne Brothers as a licensed drain layer. Is any member from LaMontagne here? Okay. These individuals have been notified. We will hold, as customary, we will hold these in committee until they appear. The understanding is that they have to know that these licenses expire on April 1st of every year. So have an awareness of that, so they'll be operating in danger of their licenses until we meet again, which will be sometime in the later part of July, I believe it is. So for those individuals that did not show, they're putting their license in jeopardy. And I thank you all for attending. Thank you for your cooperation. We will vote these out favorably this evening. Thanks.
Will the June 26th meeting please come to order? All rise and salute the flag.
Roll call of the members. Counselor Janino?
Here.
Here. Counselor Guanasso?
Here.
Here. Counselor Keefe?
Here.
Here. Counselor McKenna?
Here.
Here. Counselor Morabito?
Here.
Here. Counselor Novoselsky?
Here.
Here. Counselor Patch?
Here.
Here. Counselor Powers?
Here.
Here. Counselor Rotundo?
Present.
Here. Counselor Zambuto?
Here.
Here. And Council President Haas? Here. Quorum is present.
17-151.
Well,
Okay, approve the, so move. All those in favor, all those opposed, so voted.
Council Order 17-151, that the City Council issue a certificate of appreciation to Bianco and Sons for being in business for over 50 years.
Arthur, you going to read
Good
this?
evening, everyone. So I offered this motion, but I invited my colleague, Councilor Guanasso, up because it's his ward that the business has been in for over 50 years, and he's a dear friend of the family. So, Councilor Guanasso.
Thank you, Councilor Janino. It's certainly a great honor to be here tonight to give this recognition to a business that's been located in the city of Revere for 50 years. The family of the Bianco family, I can recall many, many years ago when my wife and I were newly married, and we'd go to Joe Bianco's for meat. And his dad would have the best meats in town, and the service was second to none. It was just a great thing to have a local butcher shop right across the street from where you live. And it was a great pleasure to know his dad, his mom, his grandmother was a great supporter of mine, and I loved it dearly. And now Joey, who's taken up the tradition and done yeoman's job with Bianco's meat. He's brought it to a level that no one really would have recognized many, many years ago.
I retired. My kids took over.
Well, he says he retired, but you know something? Go in there and see. You see Joey Bianco in there working very hard and dedicated to his customers and doing what he's always known to do. He does have a little bit of a habit that he goes out and golfs. And I guess he's pretty decent at that also. So this will give him more opportunity to go out and enjoy the quality of life that he so deserves after working so hard for many years. And it's a great honor for me to be able to read this citation to him, and a privilege for him to be here along company with his wife. Does his wife want to come up and join us? His wife does not want to come up and join us. And I will read this. This is a Revere Certificate of Appreciation in acknowledgement of being a family-owned and operated business and producing the best sausages around for the last 57 years in the city of Revere. Special recognition is hereby accorded to Bianco and Sons Sausage. This certificate of appreciation is presented by the Revere City Council and the City of Revere, Massachusetts, on behalf of its citizens this 26th day of June in the year of our Lord, 2017, and independence of the United States of America, 240th. Signed by Ashley E. Melnick, City Clerk. Also signed by Robert J. Haas, Jr., Council President. Motion offered by Councilor Janino and read by Councilor Guanasso. Great honor to give you this certificate. And also, Joe was assisted by Johnny D. coming up here to help him come to the council chamber.
Tell Mom I said hello.
I will.
God bless. Thank you. All right.
Want your chair back?
Yeah, no, you can leave it there. We're going to have another
other
one.
one?
Yep, another one.
Council Order 17-234, that the City Council award Joey Cavino with a citation of recognition for making it to the season finale of CBS's show Amazing Race.
He's yours.
Yeah.
First, let me say congratulations. This certificate of recognition reads, in acknowledgement of participating in CBS's show, The Amazing Race, and making it to the season finale, special recognition is hereby accorded to Joey Cavino. This certificate of recognition is presented by the City Council of the City of Revere, Massachusetts, on behalf of its citizens. This 26th day of June, in the year of the Lord 2017, and the independence of the United States of America of 2017. There's so much detail. And of the independence of the United States of America, the 240th, and here's your certificate. Thank you so much. First, let me start off by saying you make us proud as a sergeant on our police force. For those of you who don't know, have never watched The Amazing Race, the show, let me tell you a little bit about it. The Amazing Race is a reality competition TV show on CBS Network. The TV series completed its 29th season and has a viewership of 4 million followers. There were 11 globe traveling teams. Each team completes a challenge that determines the order for picking a teammate. None of these teammates know each other. They go to a foreign location. Along their route, there's new challenges that arise. They have to figure out the clues, and as they complete each task, the next destination is revealed, and they have to race to the next final race until they get to their final destination. It's a little complicated, but it really isn't. But I had to binge watch it in order to figure it out. But I don't know how you figure it out. But I want to say, I mentioned it had a viewership of about 4 million viewers. Joe made it to the finales. Unfortunately, he did not win the $1 million prize.
Thanks.
But he won a lot more because he gained some celebrity, and he used it as a tool to bring awareness to many causes. The first thing he did was he organized a fundraiser for cops for kids with cancer. This is an organization that they pay no employees. They pay zero for fundraising events. 94% of the proceeds are given back to the public. So he used his celebrity as a tool to create and shed light on a great cause. And he may have fell short in his race on Amazing Race, but he leaped forward in the eyes of so many parents who are seeing their kids suffer and who are dying with cancer. Because in their eyes, you're their hero and you're saving their lives. And that's more than any money can buy. So, thank you and congratulations.
It does me an honor tonight to co-sponsor this motion for Joe Covino. Joe came on the police department in 2005. He actually ended up on my shift. I had the pleasure of working for him until I retired in 2008. He was very intelligent, and I used to yell at him for his long reports, but I guess today that's the way you got to do things today, but not back then. But he was a fine police officer, and several years after that, after I retired, he became a sergeant. And I know the men have the most respect for him as a person and as a police officer. He's married. He kind of got into the Amazing Race stuff. I'm not really a big Amazing Race guy, but
I think that certificate kind of screwed me up, Charlie. Thanks to President Hass over here. He told me to read it.
But I'm going to get into the person. And he's married to Elaine Doris Covino. Elaine, who I knew his father and mother. I knew her father and mother very well, and watched her grow up. And they got three children. He spent 11 years in the Air Force and Army Reserve. He's a veteran. He, as a police officer, he started the Police Color Guard and created it, and he runs it. He also, took it upon himself. They had trouble with the Boston, I got to need my glasses here. The Boston Wounded Veterans, who I should know better, the motorcycle race. Nobody really wanted to take charge on the security and setting up the points of all the where everybody had to be. He took it upon himself to do that. That's what type of guy Joe is, and hopefully, I think he'll be very successful and as his career continues. And I just want to say how, to get back to the Amazing Race, to come in second, he was the oldest contestant in there. And he did a really good job. So that's all I'm going to say. He's just a great guy, and hopefully there'll be continued success with him on the police department. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Come on. Joe, go out this way. Congratulations.
On to public hearings. Council Order 17-241. Hearing called is ordered on the application of Eastern Equity Partners, LLC, Revere, Mass., seeking permission from the Revere City Council to demolish 2 existing non-conforming structures and uses and construct a 2-story professional and general office structure at 428-448 American Legion Highway.
Any proponents?
Good evening, councilors. Corey Rhodes, D'Ambrosio Brown, 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere. We're representing the applicant, Eastern Equity Partners, LLC, and its principal, Jamie Russo. This is a special permit for non-conforming structures and use. The proposal is to raise non-conforming structures and replace it with this brand-new 12-unit general and professional office complex. This is not a tall building, it's just going up 2 stories and provides 38 parking spaces. To be clear, this is solely business use. There are no apartments here, there's no residential use. This is strictly trying to bring more businesses to the city of Revere. The entire structure, as you can see, is geared towards the highway to respect the properties in the rear of the rear properties along Beach Road, and to really try to avoid any inconvenience to them. There will be no parking back there or lights. Really, the entire building should shield any of those residential properties from the noise and wind coming off of the highway. This is not set up to be used for auto repair or fast food. These are offices. Given the smallest impact to the neighbors, we're expecting them to be used for architects and plumbers, surveyors, landscaper, architects, different professionals that'll use this space to meet clients and have ready access to the highway. At the urging of Councilor Guanasso, we had a community meeting on June 15th, and it was very productive. A lot of neighbors came out to hear about the project, and their reactions were decidedly positive. I think some of them are in the audience today, and we'd be happy to hear from what their thoughts as well. This is a project that we think is going to be more beneficial than what's there currently. It should be better for the neighbors and bring a lot of new business to the city of Revere. And like we said, it's a special permit for non-conforming uses and structures, and we'd be happy to answer any questions and appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Any other proponents for it? There being no proponents, any opponents that are against it? There being none, we close that section. Any councilors? Councilor Ganasso.
Mr. President, I'm very proud to say that we had a very productive meeting on June 15th. Area residents showed up, and they showed up in number, and they had asked very intelligent questions of the development, and it was just a great meeting in which both sides got together in an objective manner to just to lay out the plans, to put aside any fears or alleviate any thoughts of wrongdoings of no residential. They were in agreement with that. It will not intrude upon the flow stream of the water system. And the big thing is no food and no auto repair. And the height is very conducive to the area aesthetically and contiguously. It's right down the stream of what that area, the corridor of American Legion Highway should be. And again, I applaud the neighbors who were there, and they just set forth with some questions, and they got the positive answers from the developer and his attorney. And again, I'm so proud to represent that area, the way they conducted themselves. And again, I think it's a good project for the area. There's been many concerns about what's going to go in this area. I was concerned about it. I have raised my objections to a proposal that was put forth a couple of years ago. The developer, within his wisdom, came back, and he was appreciative of the fact that my input wasn't a negative input on him. It was on the area, and I wanted to protect the integrity of the neighborhood, and I think this project does so. I think it's so much of this project that I have it in my office, the picture that I was given, the draft that I was given, and I show it on display, as I do with the Pace development that's down off of Temple Street. These are two positive things that are happening in Ward 3, and I'm very proud to say that I'm part of it, and I welcome this development into the area, and I know the area residents also feel the same. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's always a good thing when we have the support of the neighborhood as well as the ward councilor when we're looking at a different project, so that's great to hear. And I know that the residents were concerned about this property and what was going to go there because it's such a large piece of real estate and it is right on the highway and their property abuts directly behind it. So I'm glad to see that a conclusion was reached and that everyone is happy. I think it's a great project and it brings more commercial development to the city of Revere, which we desperately need. We need more restaurants, more shops, more places for our residents to go and put into our economy in the city and not have to go outside of the city. So I think it's a great project, and I fully support it. I'm the ward councilor.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've said many times that obviously this developer is a first-class developer who's turned a number of blighted properties into properties we can be proud of. I'm thrilled that the neighborhood is behind this project. It's not often that we have this kind of a back and forth with the neighborhood, and they're very satisfied in the end. And that's a tribute to the ward councilor, but and everybody else that was involved. But the bottom line is that when you get a quality developer, you want to keep them. So that's why I try to be developer-friendly to the developers that are good for the city. This happens to be one. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Marabito.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, let me say, this is a grade A developer, and at first, the residents, as my colleague said, they were hesitant about this project. All I want from a developer is obviously a good building, but I want them to work with our residents. And they came to the table, and that's all we can ask for them. And the residents seem to be in favor of it now. So thank you for going to the table with them. Congratulations to the ward councilor. I'm in favor of this project.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Frankly, I'm not going to elaborate on what other councils have stated, but it's a no-brainer. Can we vote this up? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I am not going to, my thoughts are the same as my colleagues. All you have to do for this, to see the work that this developer does, is just take a ride down Broadway. And I'm glad that they worked this out. I know it might not have started out very good, but it's good to see the neighbors get together with the developer and come up with just a beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful site. I wish you good luck, and hopefully we can have this type of peace and other developers when we come forward. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? I think the quality of the builder is excellent. Just look at across the street here from City Hall, Yeaman Street. He's built a lot of quality products in Revere, and I think the city is proud of his building. I'd like to get a show of hands of how many people are in favor of this from the neighborhood people. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, this city councilors, and this will go to the zoning subcommittee. Thank you.
Council Order 17-242, hearing called is ordered on the application of JBX Developers, Inc. from East Boston, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to reconstruct and extend an existing nonconforming structure for the purpose of accommodating a proposed 175-room hotel and 80-seat restaurant at 49-54 Revere Beach Boulevard.
Sir, please come up and identify yourself. This is for the proponents' hearing. Go ahead.
Mr. President, honorable members of the council, my name is Emilio Favorito, 7 Dawes Street, Boston, 02125. I represent the applicant, JBX Developers, who are here before you this evening seeking a special permit for the reconstruction and extension of a non-conforming structure at 4954 Revere Beach Boulevard, which currently houses the Shipwreck Lounge and the adjoining parking lot. The applicant is seeking to tear down the existing structure and construct in its stead a 175-room hotel and an accompanying 80-seat restaurant. Both of the proposed uses, hotel and restaurant, are allowed as of right in the RC2 zoning district. The proposed reconstruction would create the non-conforming the nonconformities, noted in the special permit application. With me this evening is Michael Lee, the project manager for the developer and his team, which I will ask him to very quickly introduce.
Thank you. Michael?
Hi, I'm Michael Lee with JBX Developers, project manager for this development. With me today is Maggie Zhao, project accountant, Gina Zhang, project engineer, and Ning Liu, project architect, and she'd like to make a presentation of the overall design.
Just come up and identify yourself and
Good evening. I'm Ning Liu, the architect for the hotel proposed on this project. Thank you for having me here today. Can we bring up the slides, please? Yeah, this is a beautiful sunrise of the beach view. Next, yeah, pre-design analysis. This hotel site is conveniently located east facing the ocean. North is a subway to downtown Boston and City of Revere. West is downtown Boston and the airport. Since it is right off the beautiful sand beach and it is near the airport, either from the land, the sea, and from the air, the geometry and the color of the building can make a strong impression to all travelers. Our design team first raised following questions. Next. First, relate to the natural landscape. Revere Beach is the oldest public beach in the United States. How can the hotel relate to the existing landscape of the Revere Beach? Different from Miami Beach, Revere has a more severe climate. How can we create a sense of warmth for the hotel due to the natural landscape? Historical and cultural context. How can we break down the volume of the hotel and show respect to the existing historic landmarks and fit in the historic and cultural context of the site? Sense of era. How can we add an element to the City of Revere that gives a sense of era and project towards an image moving into the future? New landmark. How can we take this opportunity to make an iconic structure that will bring a new landmark for the City of Revere and start a trend for the future development? How can we engage community and activate the area with more people, more tourists? That means more jobs, more going to the shops, more buying beach gear, more investments, etc. How can we express a sense of identity for the building through its geometry, its architectural language, its material, its spatial relationship, etc.? How can we create a sense of center or gathering space? How can we contribute to making the streetscape more welcoming, add vitality to the city, make it more inviting and vibrant? Next page. This is the site. Next page. Conceptual design analysis. Instead of having a linear building, we decide to propose a U-shaped hotel. We propose a 175-key, 8-story hotel with about 90 accessory parking space, which is equal to about 126 valet parking at the lower level. Next slide. This is parking. Next slide. This is first floor, hotel lobby and parking in the back. Next slide. This is second floor restaurant. Next slide. Each hotel room floor plate would have approximately 25 keys, and the first floor covering most of the site. The gross square footage is over 99,000 square foot, and zoning square footage for this building is over 72,000 square foot. This is almost half of the height of the previously approved residential building, which is 15 stories, I believe. And it's less intrusive to the surroundings. Next page. Next. Next. The shape of the building and the narrow wings of the front portion facing the beach gives us a presence of a less bulky building, and at the same time creates an outer court with a gesture that embraces the beachside and maximizes the ocean views. Of the 25 rooms, only 10 rooms facing Ocean Avenue do not have direct views of ocean and beach. They do have a view of sunset and the sun and the town. There will be roof bars, terraces, active skylights. The shape of the proposed building also provides a shielded area from the wind so that the second floor roof terrace has unobstructed views to the beautiful beach and the ocean, and can be a place to keep people not just during the summer season, but throughout the year. Not to mention the breathtaking moments of the Revere Beach sunrise that can be enjoyed directly from many of the hotel rooms, balconies, as well as the roof terraces and the cafe bar. The height difference between the two streets is about 7 to 8 feet. Previous slides, please. The previous slides. This gives us an opportunity to provide a parking entrance from the Ocean Avenue at grade and half of the first floor. The remainder of the first floor comprised of a double-height hotel lobby with cafe lounges spreading towards the outside for ocean views, which are also inviting to the passing pedestrians. The mezzanine floor overlooks the lobby and can also have an ocean view through the lobby's full-height windows. It also opens up space and creates visual connections between the lobby area and Ocean Avenue to the rear. On the mezzanine level, we will have our restaurant that will be open to public. In New York City, we have similar treatment of the Time Warner Building at the Columbus Circle facing Central Park, and it is very much loved. People could wander into the hotel, could go to the lounge and restaurant, and get down to the back of the building on the street level if needed. That also alleviates the traffic flow. One of the most romantic restaurants in New York City is called One if by land, Two if by sea. It would be great if we have one here in this new hotel on the beach for the city of the Revere, as this shall be the more authentic location for a restaurant with this name. Next page. Next page. Schematic design renderings. Next page, yeah. On the exterior facade of the building, we propose a horizontal scheme. This scheme, the concept of horizontal exterior scheme, borrows the language of the beach, using sand and rocks as its main architectural theme. It tries to diminish the vertical edges of the building and present itself as a horizontal beacon that can be spotted from far away at the dark night for travelers by land, by sea, and by air. The horizontal expression also emerges from the ever-extending horizontal views of the ocean, waves, layers of sand on the beach, a sense of sculpture that would secretly remind us of the culture of the Revere Beach. It also gives us an opportunity to integrate ocean views through balconies and other entertainment areas for a relaxing aura. Next page. That's the first floor, the cafe, extending to the streetscape. Next. 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 As tourists, on cold days, when we look back, the hotel shall symbolize warmth and secureness as a home to the travelers. The color of the solid horizontal component, the warm accent light fixtures and interior finishes, reflected by the multiple surfaces, such as glass, the stone, the water, visually gives building a golden glow that speaks to the sand beach under the sun. The continuous and extending glass would reflect the clouds in the sky and the waves in the sea. From the land, from the ocean, and from the sky, we want the building to quietly possess its sculpted character with the light and the shadow, the solid and the void, which differentiates itself from the surroundings. Previous slide, yeah. In the rear of the building, where the ground floor is garage, we propose community art space. Movable divisions and spotlights on the tracks give us flexibility to accommodate display of different sizes of local aspiring artists. This encourages community engagement, street fairs, and help activate the back street. The back pedestrian entrance to the hotel mezzanine floor for restaurants is treated as part of this community art space with double height glass storefront. Previous. This building is approximately 5.0 FIR, 8-story high, and our goal is to add vitality to the area by having a hotel of this caliber. This is just the start. We want to create sculpted layers, visual connections. We want to strengthen the power of solids in contrast with voids. We will introduce a change of space to create spatial sequence and, more importantly, an experience of storytelling that would tie back to the history and culture of the city of the Revere. We want people to enjoy staying for the moments and have warm remembrance after they leave. Previous. This is our dream, and you have power to make our dream come true. Thank you.
Yeah, as you know, this is going to the zoning subcommittee. Which
Yes.
is, okay, thank you. Any other proponents? Mr. Mayor?
Mr. President, I stand before you as a supporter of this project. I am happy to say, besides the beautiful renderings and the great idea of having restaurant space and hotel space, this proposal represents the single biggest commercial development down the beach in over 20 years. So when we talk about creating an economy and being able to draw in top-notch quality developers, this is the kind of project that we're talking about. And the folks from JBX are top-notch in quality. And there was reference to the 492-room Holiday Inn in Manhattan. I don't think it gets much more top-notch or quality than that. So obviously, I'm supportive, aside from the amenity factor, where it looks like this would generate upwards of $400,000 in revenue for the city, which is obviously an important part of any development that comes in, and potentially around $300,000 in community investment funds. So it's kind of a no-brainer from my perspective, but I know that the council will do its due diligence. But it really, I can't say enough about the fact that we've got strong commercial development that's happening in the city, hopefully job creation, and at the end of the day, revenue for the community. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any other proponent? I'd like, at this time, I'll close that section. Okay, well, come on. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, Lou Markakis, I'm the president of Linway Associates. My office is down at 382 Ocean Avenue in Ocean Gate Tower. And just speaking on behalf of the direct abutter, Jim Batmasian, has the abutting property. We've actually tried to work together to try and help clean up that end of the beach, but Jim is actually a proponent, and we haven't solidified anything going further. But I just wanted the council to know for the record that he is in favor of this development directly abutting him. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other proponents? people for it.
My name is Joseph Carrigal. I am the abutting, my partner and I, Dan Flynn, are the abutting properties to the left of the project. And we had an initial meeting with the developer and the architect this afternoon. It went very well. There seems to be a flow of information that would work well in the future. And I'm looking forward to also that part of the beach being developed and making it an asset to the city of Revere and also increasing the value of my property. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else? At this time, I'd like to close that section. Now, are the opponents? Any opponents? There being no opponents, I close that side. Councilors, Council McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe this is a wonderful asset to the reconstruction of this parcel of land. As you know, we all know it's Shipwreck Lounge in kind of poor shape. So this would add to the parcel. Finally, we get a hotel, which we've all been asking for, and a beautiful one at that. So I think it's going to be a great addition to Revere Beach, and I'm very excited, and I'm definitely in favor of this project. Thank you very much.
Councilor Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, seeing this presentation, quality keeps coming to mind tonight. Quality presentation, quality design, and just going through the packet, the materials that are proposed are top-notch. As we all know, when you're preparing a dish, if you start with quality ingredients, the chances of you coming out with a really nice dish at the end is going to be a lot easier when you start with good stuff. So I think that we've already seen the beginning of the transformation of Revere Beach. This is just going to go lockstep in what's next and more to come. I'm very excited to see this come to fruition, and I'd be adamantly in favor of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Councilor Guanasso.
Mr. President, this is a long time in coming. What a first-class developer we have attracted to this site, and my accolades go out to all those who made this happen. To the presenter, you were so efficient and nice to listen to and relaxing. It was one of the greater presentations I have seen before the City Council. You made it interesting to all of us, and your tone was just perfect. And that is a tribute to the individuals who selected you for doing such a great job. I congratulate you on that. And as far as the development, this is absolutely gorgeous. This is really something that we all want. We've been talking about hotels for years, and we were hearing over the many years the crazy rumors about individual hotels that might be interested in coming here. But this is great. This is just wonderful, and I think that the concept of it is unbelievable. The design is perfect, and this will be the catalyst of Revere Beach. This is the start of something new. This is going to do far and beyond what could be imaginable in that beach is going to grow again, and it's going to grow in a very positive way. It's going to be attractive to individuals who are trying to bring to our community now. But the addition of this property, I just think the City of Revere should all stand up and be proud of what has been presented to us this evening, and just can't wait for it to see it get going and finally come to fruition, and that we can all enjoy. And very important is that restaurant. I love the restaurant concept, and I think it's great. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Guanasso. Janino.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is the perfect example of the right project, the right size, and the right place. And I think one of the most important things is the developer really considered our beach as the inspiration for it. And you know, our residents always see these apartment buildings that are going up on the beach and these high rises, and they don't want to see that. And this beautiful 8-story development, I think, is going to be the perfect fit. It's going to be very aesthetically pleasing, like they said, by land, by sea, and by air, which we are right next to an airport, so it's extremely important. And I look forward to working on it in my zoning subcommittee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I've said so many times in the past, hotel development, I think, is the key to stabilizing our taxes in this city. I think this hotel in particular will be the key to revitalizing the northern end of Revere Beach Boulevard. And I can just imagine what the occupancy rate will be down there, being so close to the ocean, probably 100% at times. The monies we'll get, the 6% room excise tax, the 0.75% meal and beverage tax, and I'm glad to see there is a restaurant going in there. This will all be added revenue to our city. No kids going in the school system. We won't be picking up their trash. To me, this is a win-win-win for the city. And again, I think this will be the start of all of the movement from Boston to Revere and making Revere one of the greatest cities in Massachusetts and perhaps close to the world. But I think this is going to happen. We've got the perfect location. There's a lot of nice development going down there. We've got a lot of high-end apartments that are going in down there that will have the disposable income to support the restaurants and the lounges and the function halls in these hotels. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rotundo.
Thank you, President Haas, through you to the architect, if you would. I got a couple of questions. Shay. First question is, I've read through the schematics, and in the past, we have gotten a product that comes off like this. It's rendered with the glass, and I looked at your website from McCullen Highway. I know you guys are from Johnston, Rhode Island. And my question is the rendering that is on the website and that's here presently using glass as part of the facade, is that going to be consistent? Is there any preparation to change the aesthetics?
We actually love to have glass because it offers the best ocean views.
Excellent.
And that's quite consistent. Yeah, the developer and myself, we all love glass.
Sure. And you have the rooms that are noted within the design, but the schematics of the room aren't there. So will you have a shower? Will there be a kitchenette there? Will it be queen, king? What type of setup would it be?
So that usually there's a mixture of different type of hotel rooms that's going to be keep developed throughout the design development. And right now we are here to go through the conceptual and schematic designs, but that will be developed.
Will any of them have kitchenettes in them?
So usually we don't have kitchen. We have shared kitchen. We have probably microwave there, but unless it's suite. So upstairs there might be some little suite. So those would have private kitchen, but most of the rooms would not have kitchen.
Hung Hao. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Steve Maravito.
Thank you. Ms. Liu, thank you for the informative presentation. I have a lot of questions on ownership experience, operations management, partnering up with the restaurant, but I'll save my questions for subcommittee. But in general, I think the proposal is great. It's what I want to see on Revere Beach.
Thank you.
Councilor Patch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it was just a great presentation. The hotel is beautiful, and we've long been waiting for something like this down there. And I won't keep this long, but because, as you know, we're going to subcommittee. But another thing that I'm amazed at is how quick this deal came around. I mean, I'm familiar with the past owner, and I can't believe that this beautiful hotel took such a short, and in such a short time came before us. You're not used to Revere politics. It usually takes much longer for things to get going here. But again, thank you for your presentation. and looking forward to the day that we cut the ribbon. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess I'll ask the architect to come to. So I'm obviously intrigued by your presentation. It's a beautiful piece of architecture, and it's exciting to see what may be coming to the beach. I just have a few questions. Obviously, I saved most of my questions for subcommittee, but how long has JBX been in business?
That's a question for the developer.
3 or 4 years, Mr. Shea, the principal owner, has been...
Could you come to the microphone, please?
JBX has been in United States, in business in the United States, about 5 years, and before that, about 15 years in China.
Okay.
He currently he currently owns and operates Holiday Inn Manhattan, 50 stories, 496 rooms.
Okay, so I heard the mayor talk about, are you talking about the piece in Manhattan, the hotel
Yes.
in Manhattan?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you have any other projects you can offer up to me?
There's a couple residential subdivisions in Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
In the past, and currently there's a subdivision in Northridge and another one in Douglas.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
That's all I have. I'll save
Thank
my
you, Counselor.
questions for the subcommittee.
Anyone else like to speak? I'd like to really commend the architect for a well presentation, and I think this is the major push-through in Revere, without question. It's a quality hotel, 175 rooms, and plus what the mayor requested is a restaurant, and I think that's a good combination.
Mr. President?
So I wish you the best of luck, and it will go to zoning. Councilor Rotundo.
One last question, which I think is vitally important that wasn't asked. Who's your equity partner? Who's funding this project?
JBX is funding it themselves.
He's self-funding it?
Yes.
You're talking about JBX International, Jubel Adin Khan out of New York? Or are you talking about Jennifer Quinn or Jabai Z out of Johnston, Rhode Island, that's noted in the LLC?
Out of New York.
So that would be Jubal Adin Khan?
Shea.
Who is it?
Jabal Shea.
Okay, that's who it is?
Uh-huh.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
For the presentation, this will go to the zoning subcommittee, and Councilor Janino will establish that date. All right?
Correct, we can have it at, if there's nothing scheduled, 5 o'clock before the next council meeting, no?
There's already a public safety subcommittee scheduled for 5.
Make it 4? 4 o'clock?
Perhaps I can talk to the chairman of that committee to see if we could flip them. Maybe do that one at 4 and zoning at 5. Councilor Patch?
She wants to have a subcommittee. You have a 5 o'clock, right. Can she switch it to 4 and have this?
I just can't get out of work that early.
She's working.
The only problem is, it's up to, I think the clerk already sent out communication
Did it
that
already go out?
that it's at 5 o'clock.
Can we do it at 5:30? Do you believe there'll be enough time, and do you have a lot of items on your agenda?
I really know, pardon me?
You have 2 items on that agenda regarding the Route 1 highway improvement project.
I know. I really, I don't know how quickly, I think we're inviting people from other cities and,
All right, 4 o'clock is fine. We can schedule it for 4 o'clock. Would that be July
pardon me?
24th at 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can schedule it
Okay,
that time.
schedule after the 24th, okay? Charlie, you're all set for yours. Closes that section. Great presentation, without question. Thank you.
On to the Ways and Means Subcommittee report.
Good evening. The Ways and Means Subcommittee met on 4 different occasions, tonight being the 4th, to ask for recommendations for any cuts or reductions in the budget. There were none coming forth from the committee. The committee felt there was general agreement amongst the committee members that this was a budget submitted that was very, very low. There were no room for cuts of any kind in the budget, and that was the recommendation of the committee. And we have some other items we have to take now that will require a roll call vote. And let's take up item number 17243, Madam Clerk. Would you read that, please?
Council Order 17-243, this is a communication from the mayor relative to revolving accounts for fiscal year 2018.
Call.
Shall the City Council authorize the use of the revolving accounts for FY18 as listed in Council Order 17-243? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky is absent. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the revolving accounts have been approved.
The next item is item number 17244. Communication from the mayor requesting an appropriation of free cash for traffic and planning consulting services. Madam Clerk?
Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from free cash in the amount of $129,798.60 for traffic and planning consulting services? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky is absent. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes.
And the next item is 17-249, which will require 3 roll call votes.
This is a communication from the mayor relative to the water and sewer free cash appropriations and a transfer to the Water and Sewer Enterprise Stabilization Fund.
Roll call.
Roll call?
Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from Water and Sewer Enterprise free cash in the amount of $1 million to supplement the FY18 water and sewer budget? Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the transfer has been approved.
The next item, please. Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from Water and Sewer Enterprise free cash in the amount of $250,000 for capital projects? Call the roll, please.
Roll call on the motion. Shall the, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido? Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo is absent. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes. And before
Yes,
we
the
go on, I'd like...
appropriation has been approved.
Okay. Before we go on, I'd like to introduce Council President and former Mayor Dan Rizzo. Welcome.
Next item, please. Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from Water and Sewer Enterprise cash to the Water and Sewer Stabilization Fund in the amount of $2,335,235.75?
On the motion, Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keefe? Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Rotundo?
No.
No. Counselor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been approved.
All right, moving on.
The next item, 17-236, communication from the Director of Finance relative to transfer request from free cash to the stabilization account amended. Roll call, please.
Roll call.
Shall the City Council approve a transfer in the amount of $1 million from free cash to the Capital Improvement Stabilization Fund? Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambudo? Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the transfer has been approved.
Personal point of privilege.
Yes, sir. Counsel?
Mr. President, I had asked the mayor to provide a delineation of exactly what this fund was going to be utilized for, and I thought we were going to get a piece of paper dictating what it was, giving us exactly what it would be used for. As I had said earlier, I had asked for something similar in the past, and he had elaborated certain uses for it. Part of the idea of asking to debate this issue and have a delineation is, obviously, if we have people who become homeless, perhaps some of that money could be utilized going to CAPIC to set up a program with them through that fund in order to help these people. But unfortunately, this has fallen on deaf ears, and I refuse to not vote on something when it's a good thing, even though my reservations are noted. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Anyone else? Moving on.
Madam Clerk, communication from the Director of Finance relative transfer from free cash and the overlay surplus account to supplement the FY 2018 budget. There are two separate roll calls required on this.
Roll call.
Shall the City Council approve the use of free cash in the amount of $1 million to supplement the FY18 budget? Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambudo is absent. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been approved. And on the
Mr.
second roll
Make
call?
a second, please. You want to read it first, Ashley?
On the second motion,
No, I just wanted to clarify something that was
Okay.
mentioned earlier.
Okay.
on the motion,
Are we
shall
on
the-
roll call, or what are we doing?
Let's call
We're
the
gonna do
roll
a
on
roll
this and then
call,
allow the
then
mayor to
can
speak.
Roll call, then the mayor speaks.
Shall the City Council approve the use of $1 million from the overlay surplus account to supplement the FY18 budget? Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morbido? Yes. Counselor Novoselsky? Yes. Counselor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambudo is absent. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been approved.
Okay. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just very quickly, in terms of the capital programming or capital plan, we will have something to the council in July. So there is a plan being comprised. It was a little bit less money than we had anticipated. We had originally anticipated $2 million going into that fund. We've got $1 million going into that fund, so there will be a plan forthcoming to the council.
Mayor, thank you. Moving on.
Call the next item is 17-239. This is a communication from the mayor relative to the beautification of Butler Circle. Shall the City Council approve an appropriation from free cash in the amount of $15,192 for for the beautification of Butler Circle. And I'd just like to mention one thing. We've already received in mitigation money toward this approximately $58,000 plus. So that's going to be done at a minimal cost to the city of the $15,000 that's mentioned here. Would you call the roll, please, Madam Clerk?
Roll call on the motion. Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the appropriation has been approved.
Now, we have one more item, and that's the FY 218 budget. And as I mentioned before, we've had 4 separate meetings in the past month regarding the budget. We've discussed it fairly thoroughly, and there have been no recommendations made at those meetings from any city councilor with regard to cuts. And I think that just tends to show how lean that budget is. I think to make any cuts in that budget would probably be eliminating services for some of some sort in the city. This is a budget that just on the city side, excluding education, shows only a 3% increase overall, and I think that's a compliment to the mayor and his staff for the efficiency in which they have, and his department heads also, in which they have rendered in preparing this budget. Normally, budgets would come in at a 4, 4.5%, 5% increase, but again, this is a very low increase. And it brings the total budget up, and this includes the school department, for $1,884,437,347. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll on the budget?
Shall the City Council approve the FY18 budget as presented by Mayor Arrigo in the amount of $184,437,347? Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Rotundo?
No.
No. Counselor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas? Yes, the budget has been approved.
Mr. President, suspension of rules, hoping not prevail.
Okay, suspension of the rules, hopefully will not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed? So voted.
Thank you.
On to the Appointment Subcommittee report.
Mr. President, earlier this afternoon, the Appointment Subcommittee met, and we had the following before us on the agenda. 17-229 is a reappointment of J.J. O'Brien as a licensed drain layer. That was approved. 17-230, reappointment of Miola Construction Corporation as a licensed drain layer. That was approved. 17-231, reappointment of Menino Construction as a licensed drain layer. That was approved. 17-232, appointment of McGrath Enterprises as a licensed drain layer. They were not in attendance per policy of the Appointment Subcommittee. We will put that on hold. 17-233, reappointment of Myrick Company as a licensed drain layer. That was approved. 17-237, J&A Contracting as a licensed drain layer. They also did not appear. That will be placed on hold. 17-238, Callahan Inc. as a licensed drain layer. They did not appear. That was placed on hold. 17-245, LaMontagne Brothers as a licensed drain layer. They did not appear. That will be placed on hold. Mr. President, I ask that those who were in attendance and voted out favorably by the Appointment Subcommittee, that they be taken as one, and we make one vote unless there's any objection from any member of the City Council. Thank you,
Taken
Mr.
as one.
President.
Roll call.
Shall the City Council confirm the appointments as reported by Chairman Guanasso? Counselor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the appointments have been confirmed.
Motions?
On to motions, Council Order Number 17-246, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo that the mayor provide a full copy of the Chief of Police assessment and all questions asked to candidates to the City Council.
Councilor Rotundo.
If you recall, and I can most gallantly pull up the videotape of Chief of Police of Arlington speaking before this podium, as I particularly asked him about the actual assessment, and as he pointed out, and as Mrs. Puccini from the Secretary of State's office pointed out, that it is a public record, and I would like to see it. I would like to see the questions that were asked. I would like to know who derived those questions, and I'd like to see them. We paid for it. That's the people's property, and I'd like it tomorrow if possible.
I think it's going to take a little longer than tomorrow, really.
There should be already a copy that's manifested. This report's already
I
been done
understand that, Counsel.
for over several weeks now.
Why don't you basically let it by Friday? Give 'em some
How about
leeway.
next Monday,
That's even better.
you know?
Okay. On Councilor Rotundo's request, all those in favor, all those opposed?
Mr. President, may we suspend rules in order to take this back up in hopes that it does not...
Council Order -247, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo that the mayor appear before the City Council to discuss the cost of his top-to-bottom reorganization. Further, what is the basis for this reorganization?
Former Mayor Dan Rizzo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know if the...
Well, personally, I believe my questions are for the mayor presently, and he's in the room, so I'd like to ask him.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Rotundo.
So we had spoken on the phone about a week ago, and you had presented that there were some issues, and some of them I agreed with, some of them I didn't. But I'd like to know...
Council, we didn't get into any specific issues, but we talked generally about the department, and you had agreed that there were some systemic problems in that department.
Well, there were problems, I mean, clearly...
Systemic problems, and those were words that I used.
Oh, okay, so tell me what they are.
I'm not at liberty, and I'm not going to get into... I don't have the luxury, quite frankly, to get into a political game. I am charged with making sure that the department is running as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And the fact is, we have many
You mean political games
men
like
and women
having Matt
who
Buckley?
work very hard every day and are on the street every day. They deserve and need the tools to succeed in that department. The fact is, they have not been given those tools. That is what we talked about. We talked about 40, 50 years of culture, of a culture that is broken. That's what we talked about.
Well, with all due respect, you know, number one, if you're going to use Matt Buckley as an internal affairs investigator and undermine the chief,
Counselor, I'm not going to get into personnel and HR issues.
I've got the
floor.
floor.
The fact is, I have special
Mr.
legal
President.
counsel.
Mr. President, do I have the floor or not?
All discussions to the mayor, the council president.
Mr. President, do I not have the floor? Thank you, Mr. President. When you're using a consultant named Matt Buckley to investigate members of the police department, he is not, by letter of law or the color of law, I believe, allowed to do so. To
Matt
the point
Buckley
that I'm
is
going to be
special
calling the
counsel.
Attorney General's office
Matt Buckley
to
is special
find out
counsel to
whether
the
what he is
city.
doing is an irregularity or not.
Matt Buckley is special counsel to the city. He does not do investigations alone. There was an investigation done. There have been multiple investigations done that include the police
Well, I'm going
department.
to be asking the Attorney General to look into his behavior. I'm going to be calling the Board of Overseers as well. So you can say what you want, but I know what police officers have told me. So you can sit up there and play your game. I'm not playing it no more.
Counsel, I'm not playing any games.
Enough of using Matt Buckley as the goddamn hammer for the police officers in this department.
The fact
I'm not
is,
going to
Counselor,
tolerate it.
Mr. President, why are we allowing this diatribe here this evening?
The fact is, to the council's edification, Matt Buckley is outside labor counsel to the city of Revere. He has been used in union negotiations, and he's been used in personnel issues. We do not have, as you know, an HR department. That will end July 10th when our full-time HR director does come on board. In the interim, we had been using Matt on labor issues and union issues, and the fact is that there have been internal investigations going on. I'm not at liberty to discuss them with you in this venue, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to play politics. I'm not going to get into some of the issues that we've uncovered in that department. But the fact is, I am charged with fixing them. I am charged with fixing them. No, Counselor, it is public safety.
It's a witch hunt.
It is public safety, Counselor.
Counselor, that's enough. That's enough. George, your 3 minutes are up. Mayor Rizzo?
Mr. President, thank you very much. And I did want to come up and speak on this motion because I am very passionate about public safety here in the city. I'm not even here, quite honestly, as a former mayor. I'm not up here as a candidate for city council. I'm up here as a resident who's very concerned about this slippery slope that we're going down right now, playing politics with the police department. There's no other way around it. You can read the annual reports, and I trust that you all have over the years, that show a systematic reduction in crime. That is what's going on here. When I took over back in 2012, we had 84 police officers. When I left, we had 104. Chief Caffarelli had righted the ship. Chief Caffarelli is a Marine. Chief Caffarelli is the leader of the North Shore Metro SWAT team. And Chief Caffarelli, by all accounts, has done a tremendous job for the Revere Police Department. And now we get an assessment center to talk about who might be the next chief of police, because Chief Caffarelli apparently wasn't strong enough with respect to community policing. Well, does everybody remember July 7, 2016, when the 5 Dallas police officers were shot and killed when they were ambushed just a little over a year ago? Well, Chief Caffarelli has been invited to speak about community policing in Dallas in 2 weeks because of the presidential nomination award that he got for community policing. So that tells me that he must have something going for him when it comes to community policing. No, he didn't play golf with the mayor or bunk with him, but you know what? He ran the police department. He's respected, and he did his job. And in my mind, it is unconscionable that not only did we spend $8,000 to not come up with a chief, I don't know, this chief from Arlington that was hired to do the job, which, who can tell me what Arlington has in common with Revere? You go look at the socioeconomics and the demographics of Arlington versus Revere and tell me if he knows what goes on in Revere. And by the way, you don't have to do very much looking. Look at the crime statistics in Arlington. They're up. You know what our statistics are? Down. And he's telling us that we have problems in our police department. This is an insult to every officer to say that basically what the mayor is saying is this police department is not doing their job. We need to go and look at every single nook and cranny and see what's going on. You know what you need to do? You need to read the report. You've already driven John Goodwin out. You're losing Chief Caffarelli, and I'm going to tell you right now, maybe some of you know it, maybe some of you don't, there's others that are lateraling out because they don't like the direction that's here in the city right now. You don't fool around with public safety for the purpose of politics. It is absolutely unconscionable to do that to the residents of this community. And this council has some power in this. You're able to stand up and say, look, this police department has been doing a good job. You don't have to sit there silently. If you think Chief Caffarelli's been doing a bad job, then say it. It's awful. This is what I think he's doing wrong. But if you think he's done a good job and you think that these men and women of the department are doing a good job and have been doing a good job, then say so. I sat on the city council for 12 years before I became mayor. And you all know, those of you that sat here with me, the complaints that we used to get. They didn't show up for calls, this happened, that happened, people were mistreated. It was 180 when I left office. 180. The number of complaints, Mr. President, were at an all-time low, at least in my time in public office. So I just ask you to think about what is going on with respect to public safety. It's something that you all need, and I know you do, take very seriously on behalf of the over 50,000 residents here in the city. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Mr.
Thank you,
President, through you to the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, none of the, if you may, well, if I'm going to be shut off.
Thank you, Mr. President. Although it's killing me not to speak on this, I just have to recuse myself from this motion because I have a direct conflict of interest, but thank you.
The motion again was that the mayor appear before the city council to discuss the cost of his top-to-bottom reorganization. Further, what is the basis for this reorganization?
On the motion. Recall.
Mr. President, there has to be more specifics in that wording.
Yeah. In the,
Point of
we're
order.
in the roll call. Counsel Janino.
On the motion, Councilor Gino is recused. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas?
Yes.
Yes, the motion has been
Council
approved.
President, can we suspend rules in order to take this up for reconsideration in hopes it does not repeat?
Council Order 17-248, motion presented by Councilor Rotundo, that the City Council go on record for a vote of confidence for Chief Caffarelli.
Mr. President, I'd like to speak on this. Point of order. Every councilor has a right to speak on his motions or her motions. Thank you. Mr. President, to the body, I put forward this vote of confidence for Chief Caffarelli for many reasons. One, that he's a man of integrity who's never had to plead the Fifth Amendment in a criminal hearing regarding a case here in Revere. More importantly, he, through what Dan Linsky, who was the site commander for the Boston bombings, has said that he is a man of the highest caliber. This is the person who ran the actual terrorism event in Boston, Daniel Linsky. And I ask for this council to stand and, with a vote of confidence for Chief Caffarelli, all it is just a record of his great service.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't think I've been silent on Chief Caffarelli. I've let my feelings known both to the mayor and to everybody else that I was disappointed that he wasn't being reappointed. I felt, as a lot of others have, that he did a great job as chief, and I was hoping he would continue. I'm not the mayor. I don't appoint that position, and so I have to, at this point, go along with the mayor. But that doesn't mean I back down from my admiration of Chief Caffarelli. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Patch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also have my opinion on this. I made it known from the very beginning with the mayor, and that I have strong support for Chief Caffarelli. I actually had the pleasure of serving under him for several years. He was my lieutenant. He also was he started as a patrolman. He became my street sergeant, and then he became my lieutenant. He's a fine commander. I thought he was doing a good job, but again, it's not up to me. And I made everybody that called me and everybody that has spoken to me, I've given them my honest opinion of what I thought of Chief Caffarelli, and I will continue to do that. But at this point, I got to learn to, I guess, work with the next chief. But I just want that known out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no problem. I think the chief has done a fantastic job, and I gave him my vote of support. Unfortunately, when he called me and told me that he was not going to be re-upped for his contract, that was a decision of the mayor, and I support the mayor just like I also support the chief in his time of service with the city. He was a great chief, and before that he was a captain and he said a lieutenant for the city, and he's done a phenomenal job, and he's had a tremendous career. If the mayor wants to make that change, we voted the mayor, and the city voted Brian Arrigo as mayor, and he's made some decisions that have been very unpopular, and he's made some decisions that have been very good. He's going to reap what he sows in 2 more years, and that's going to be up to him. We don't just sit here idly just because we don't yell and scream on the council. Maybe sometimes we try and behave ourselves in a gentlemanly fashion. But the mayor can make his decisions, the council will make their decisions, and leave the politics out of it. I called the mayor. I spoke to the mayor about his decision, and we had that private conversation. I spoke to the chief about that decision, and we had that private conversation. I don't need to go to the front page of the paper and make every decision or a conversation I had newsworthy. I think that we have a new chief, and the city's going to be taking a new direction, an interim chief. And what happens after that, happens after that. If the mayor comes to us for my advice, I'll give him my advice. If he doesn't, so be it. That's his choice. And if anyone else wants to come to me for advice, I'll have that conversation as well. Chief Caffarelli, I'm really sorry to see him going. He's a great man. His family lives up the street from me. Very nice family. I'm not a police officer. I can't tell you what happens inside that police office. We have a tremendous group of police officers in the city, 108 of them. And I'm sure that there's some mixed emotions over there too. But that's going to be the mayor's job to make them happy, and the next chief's job to make them happy, and to do whatever is needed to be done. Simple as that.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Marabito.
Thank you. Well, I recall when Chief Reardon was the chief, and when he left, there were some people who were very upset. Whenever you replace a department head, there's always going to be some who are proponents and opponents, just like in the council chambers. You're never going to have someone who's 100% happy with who the mayor appoints. Chief Caffarelli came in. I've had numerous conversations with him. He knows how I feel about him. When I called Chief Caffarelli on the phone, he would answer. If there was an issue that was going to develop on the news, my phone would get a call and he would say, Councilor Morabito, I just want to let you know that something may be developing. It may be newsworthy. I just want to give you a heads up and let you know what's going on. And I admire that about him. And I've spoke to his wife. I spoke to him. And I don't discredit his ability at all. I think he did a good job. And I don't think anyone on this council discredits his ability, his performance. I think we just have private conversations and let the mayor know how we feel. And we don't use a public platform when someone's career, and putting someone's career in public platform. It's just not something I feel comfortable about. He knows how I feel about him, and at the end of the day, it's the mayor who chooses the appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think without a doubt, everyone knows that Chief Caffarelli was a great chief. He is a nationally recognized chief. He earned the respect of his peers, the people that served under him, and the city of Revere and the residents that he served. So I think that, we all know that. We all support that. He was a phenomenal chief and a phenomenal member of the police department for over 20 years, and I think that that should be respected. However, he inherited the unfortunate problem that many department heads in the city of Revere inherit, and that's years and years and years of problems and of issues that happen in the city, just like the consent decree that we're under for the years of our sewer lines that were neglected. You know, and it's really unfortunate that these decades of neglect fall on one person's shoulders. And although that this is a very controversial issue right now, I think the point is it's not pointing the blame on one person or saying one person is responsible for the problems that we're seeing in the city. I think the point is we want to get to the bottom of it and try to fix it. It's unfortunate that this is falling on Chief Caffarelli because he's one of the best police departments and chiefs in the country, without a doubt. He's phenomenal. And I hope that this reconstruction is on no reflection of him, and I think it's important that as the council we support him to show that the city of Revere supports him and that this is not a reflection of him but a reflection of the city of Revere, and we're trying to do our due diligence and fix the problems that we have in the city. And it is very unfortunate because, like I said, many departments in the city are facing problems that have been under the rug for years, and they're not going to be popular when they come up, and it's tough to deal with. But if we don't deal with it, they're going to be pushed to the next generation and the next generation, and we're never going to get to the bottom of it. So we voted for the mayor. We trust the mayor, and I know that he's going to do his due diligence to serve our city properly.
Your Councilor Guanasso.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's none of us that could speak up here today and say that Chief Caffarelli wasn't the chief that we all admired. We certainly did. And we certainly can contribute to him all the accolades in the world that are deserving of him in the way he conducted himself in a very professional manner. Councilman Morabito stated that he called him when certain issues were occurring, but he also called me in reference to any activity that I should be aware of in Ward 3, and I compliment him on that, and I always did. But the truth be said, and I happen to have the luxury of serving as a counselor the past several years. With the mayor, they have the will to do as they wish in reference to a selection of a chief. When Chief Reardon was selected, I was in agreement with him because I thought that Mayor Rizzo made a selection of a good man, who was going to, excuse me, I thought that the current chief was doing a great job. Now, it's at the will of the mayor, and I think every mayor has selected a new chief. I don't think this is anything in derogatory fashion towards the current mayor. He's done what every other chief has done. They want their own in their administration, and it shouldn't be cast as a reflection of, and doubt about Chief Caffarelli, because we all know all too well he's been a great chief. And I didn't know he would be a great chief, but yet when Chief Reardon was let go, I had concern because I had great promise with Chief Reardon. So this is one that we have to accept because the mayor has asked us to do so. We try to give the mayor the tools that he needs to run an administration to the best of his ability. And he has stated to us that he needs a new chief. And again, it's no disrespect or disregard for Chief Caffarelli, because he's number one. He's a great guy. He's a great cop. You can't. Those ingredients are hard to meet. So I don't fault anyone with this. It's just the nature of the beast and the way it works. And if the mayor is not comfortable with Chief Caffarelli and he selects a new chief, then so be it. This is what we have to do, and we hope for the best for our community. We don't know the unknown, but we at least have to give the mayor the opportunity to run his administration as the best way he knows how to do. And I think this is, again, in no disrespect to anybody, it's just giving the opportunity to a new mayor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Powers, and then you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've known the Caffarelli family for an awful long time. Father, grandfather, grandmother. Grandmother worked with my wife down at the welfare department. They worked together down there. Great people. And I've said to Chief Caffarelli, I think was a great chief. But I also think that a mayor, and we're not unique in this situation, every other city and town in the Commonwealth has done it, more or less, has the right to have someone that he feels comfortable with sitting in that position. And I keep hearing this $8,000 for an assessment kicked around. Like the mayor's doing something wrong, he's spending $8,000. Well, I seem to remember that when Chief Reardon was let go, the amount was $125,000, I believe, maybe even more, in sort of mitigation money, so he could fill the position when it only had about 6 months left to go on it. So when we talk about Mayor Arrigo spending $8,000 and the previous mayor, Rizzo, spending $125,000, you know, we're talking about two different things here. And that $8,000 was to pay for an assessment center, to get advice. $125,000, I believe, was just said to go away. So while we're talking about money up here and chiefs and mayors and who's doing the right thing and the wrong thing, let's bring it all out and let's talk about it. Because I believe that's something that we should do, and that's something that I'm going to do every Monday night up here continually as long as I'm a city councilor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Point of personal privilege.
Personal privilege.
Thank you. One, to answer Council Janino, and two, to answer Councilor Powers. First and foremost, I don't trust the mayor. Since being up here, I've asked him time and again for the audit, the DPW report. The structural deficit that we had was $2 million. Turns out now we have $4.5 million in certified cash, whereas the year before was deferred. Second, I've asked for the results of the audits, and I don't have them. The issue regarding the Lincoln School.
That's not a personal privilege. The issue is Chief
I believe it
Caparelli.
is.
It's not. You're out of
Well,
order.
that's
Council
your-
McKenna.
Mr. President, can I speak to some of the falsehoods and lies and mistruths that
Well,
the
then it's
council
gonna be a
keeps
two-way
on-
street, I'll tell you
keeps
that
on
much, pal.
pushing? The fact is, free cash was certified for 15
It was not. I had to
16.
file a 4-year against you. I'm
That's
in
a-
court
Point of order,
trying
Mr.
to get the
President. Let the mayor
information.
speak,
We sent it to the
George. Come
council
on.
May 1st. We sent it to the council May 1st. In fact, we made appropriations from free cash.
With
So
all
I
due
don't know what you're
respect,
talking
Point of
about.
order, Mr. President.
Over a month and a half
Point of
ago.
order.
I'm
Point
still
of order.
asking for the
Point of
information.
order, Mr.
Point of
President.
order, Mr. President.
We're discussing
Check your
Chief
Janino.
Check
Caffarelli.
it out.
We're not
Out of
discussing the
control.
budget right now.
What's that?
We're discussing Chief Caffarelli. We're not discussing the budget right
Right,
now. I'm
exactly.
not sure why that was directed towards me.
Right.
Every councilor up here made the same point.
Exactly.
So,
When you
I don't
use
understand that, but
"we," you
thank
mean me, and I'm not part of
Right.
that "we."
Council McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say thank you, to get back to Chief Caffarelli. I would like to say thank you to the Chief Caffarelli. I would call him. He called me and supported me on a couple of issues that I was having a hard time with when I first became a councilor. Unfortunately, I feel like every new administration has the right to do what they want to do, pick the people that they want to have beside them. Unfortunately, we are losing a great guy, but this happens every 4 years, and this is the way it is. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm not going to reiterate everything that everybody said, but in most cases, I agree with them. You know, the chief did a great job. I'm just don't like the way this motion came in and the reason it came in. I agree with giving him a vote of confidence, but not for the real reason that it came in before us. The chief did a great job, and as Councilor Guinasso stated and Councilor Keefe stated, he is the boss. The mayor is the boss. He has a right to do what he wants to do. The contract was over, and he chose to change. And I'm sorry to see the chief go, but we have to move on and take care of an acting chief, and then hopefully in that period of time that the mayor wants, we'll come up with a new chief. Let's move on and keep the city going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Simbudo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to make a couple of things clear. I already said what I was going to say about outgoing Chief Caffarelli. I don't have a problem with the $8,000 that was spent on an assessment center. That's the least of the problems. And I want to give a vote of confidence to our interim chief, Guido, who I believe will stabilize the situation there, and I'm looking forward to working with him. So I just wanted to clear up those two little things, that I don't have a problem with having an assessment center, even though it didn't work out. And I certainly am looking forward to working with Interim Chief Guido. Thank you.
Last one. Anyone else like to speak? Since everyone's spoken, I'd like to voice a few comments. First of all, when you run for mayor, you know what you're running for, okay? You're running to have your own team with you, whether you like the person, dislike the person, etc. But you want your own team. It happens in business, IBM, all the major companies out there. It's not only in Revere, okay? And these people running for it are running because that's the issue. I've been in politics for a number of years, okay? And I've never seen a mayor reorganize like Mayor Regal has organized. Talking about, I formed the HR development. They get rid of it, the council get rid of it, all right? That's a major important, it's costing the city major money, okay? He's implementing, the person's gonna start against June 10th from what the mayor said, all right? All the departments, there's accountability from the mayor's office to all the other departments, all right? And I think that's what's needed, not just the, give me a budget, etc. He sits down with every department head, he goes over it, bodies, job titles, etc. So basically, I think, Joe was a great guy for me. He was very there. But that's not my issue. That's the mayor's issue. The mayor didn't want him. I voiced my opinion with the mayor. Okay? I made a selection. He didn't select that guy. Okay? But that's his prerogative, not mine. I'm a councilor. A council president there. It means nothing. Really. So basically, at this point in time, roll call on Council Rotundo's motion.
That the city council go on record for a vote of confidence for Chief Caffarelli. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe is absent. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers? Yes. Councilor Rotundo? Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Haas? Yes, the motion's been approved.
Could we suspend rules?
Late motions, Council Order 17-251, that the mayor direct the Revere Police Department and Massachusetts State Police to investigate and find remedy to abate the loud noises emanating from motorcycles in the areas of the Jack Satter House and other residential areas on Revere Beach Boulevard.
Whose name is on that?
Madam Clerk, you can add Mr. President
It's all
Haas's
politic,
name to
as
that.
always. Jesus.
Mr. President, your name can be on there. I have the same information, sir. As a matter of fact, I've received numerous calls from the Jack Satter House regarding the motorcycles that congregate around the Kelly's roast beef down there. And I know that Kelly's roast beef has been a good neighbor to this city, a good business for decades, back to I believe, the late 50s. However, the people that live in the Jack Satter House, who are, for the most part, elderly, have a right to go to bed at a reasonable hour and sleep through the night, get a good night's sleep. And that hasn't been the case lately because of the noise emanating from the motorcycles that are down there. And I think we should get down there, or the police should get down there, and do the same thing we did at the St. George for the residents there. Make it a quiet zone. Enforce the regulations with regard to the noise ordinance down there. And give the people that live not only in the Jack Satter house, but in the other residences down there, a little level of comfort so they can get a good night's sleep. And I hope that that happens very soon because we're into the summer months now. It's only going to intensify if we don't do something. So I think it's time to get that done, Mr. President. And I know you have a very valid concern over it also. I know we've spoken together regarding this. They've done some work in Boston. From all indications, areas of Boston are much quieter now since the police got involved. And again, I hope this will happen down there. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak on this issue? I know. This was in the Boston Globe a couple weeks ago. It violates both state and city ordinances to ride a motorcycle whose exhaust system isn't muffled. That of the operator with straight pipes or those without baffling or call. What happens is these people get in front of you. It doesn't only happen on the boulevard. It happens in all streets in the city. And I think what the state should do in the city is enforce our city ordinances. Thank you. All those in favor? All those opposed? So voted.
Late communication from the Director of Finance relative to the FY18 water and sewer rates.
Roll call.
Shall the City Council establish the FY18 water rate effective July 1st, 2017 as follows? $4.01 per 100 cubic feet for residential owners and $6.37 per 100 cubic feet for commercial owners. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe? Absent. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido? Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotundo? Yes. Councilor Zambudo? Is absent. And Council President Haas? Yes, the water rate has been approved.
The next city council meeting will be July 21st,
Mr. President.
24th, okay?
Mr. President.
Summer vacation. Councilor Ganasso.
Mr. President, point of personal privilege.
Oh.
I'd like to wish the city of Revere a happy 4th of July and be safe.
Yep.
And you're all
absolutely.
invited to my barbecue.
Huh?
Oh, I'm not having a barbecue, okay.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Mr. President, two things, if I may. I just want to remind everybody that the Revere Recreation Department's programs begin this weekend. The concerts will be at the Legion Lawn, beginning July 2nd and going 7 weeks. And I also want to wish the wife of Councilor Guanasso, Linda Guanasso, a happy birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday. All those in favor? Adjourn.